Zwom. Doot, 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 doot. BMO.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another BMO Creative crypto video. So this one is about the Tornit, yet another tribe of Sasquatch. I think this one is really kind of sad and explains why we may never fully reconnect with our past or with Sasquatch tribes. So the Inuit mythology about the Tornit refers to a giant hairy tribe of people, also known as the Alaska Bushman. Tornit is a very common name used for giant hairy tribes among Inuit cultures. Adults reaching heights of anywhere from 7 to 9 feet tall on average, with large bulky muscles and hairy, mainly on the top of their heads and on their backs, but they're hairy all over, on their arms and their lower torso and their legs. They are tool users and wear thick furs, hair side out mostly to protect from wind and wet weather. They made their clothes with long strips on them so that they can tie them around their waists when the weather was better, kind of like we do with like sweatshirts and things. Gotta remember that Sasquatch was a mispronunciation of Sasquatch, invented in 1929 in Canada, and the name Bigfoot was first used in California in 1958. Tornit has been used for centuries. Most First Nations groups, Canadian Natives, American Natives, the Inuit, the Yupik, they have their own names for these hairy giant tribes, and they've had them for centuries. But anyway, based on the description, these creatures could also be an American surviving population of Neanderthals, which is what I think a lot of the Bigfoot species are. The Bigfoot tribes are just what people science says is our ancestors are really existing people with slightly different genetics. Some sort of Homo sapiens species. They are fairly peaceful, hairy giants and are believed to possess superhuman strength and are associated with the Arctic regions of Canada, Alaska, and the Great North. The story of the Tornit involves their alleged displacement from Inuit villages due to an incident involving a stolen kayak and the subsequent violence that follows. And I looked this up, and it's not really a myth when you can find the actual names of the Inuit people that were involved. So I'm not going to bring up those names in fear that their families are still alive. So for generations, passed down. Anyways, according to the Anchorage Daily, stories of the Alaska Bushmen or Tornits have been told since the first people crossed the Bering Land Bridge. And the Inuits will tell you that the Tornits were already here. When they crossed the bridge, the Tornits were already here. In the beginning, the story goes, the Inuit and the Tornits lived peacefully in villages together, near each other and around each other, and shared common hunting and fishing grounds and taught each other all kinds of skills and crafts and seemed to be getting along great. The Inuit people often built and used kayaks for hunting and fishing and transportation, while the Tornits were unable to master this building of kayak skill. They were very aware of the advantages of having and using kayaks, though. So, the story states that a young Tornit took a young Inuit's kayak without permission. The young Inuit happened to be the chief's son, who loved violence and war, and who was very good at making kayaks. The Tornit was way too heavy and big to use the kayak, and so when he tried to use it, it scraped the bottom of the water and on the rocks, and it tore it open and damaged it. The young Inuit became very angry after finding the kayak in this condition and got his friends together, and they bum rush this young Tornit and killed him. Stabbed him in the nape of the neck is what they say. After they had knocked him out, then they killed him. The rest of the Tornits feared that they too would be killed from this warrior tribe of Inuits, and so they fled and went further north where the Inuit can't follow. And to this day, they are rarely seen, according to myth and legend. So since that time, many stories have come out of the bush of hunters disappearing, later found dead and mangled or never seen again. Some blame the Tornits for this, but I don't think so, because if they were violent, they would have had a war on their hands back when the boys killed one of them. So there are many things that can and will kill a lone hunter in the Alaskan woods, but I don't think a Tornit is one of them. So what do you think of the Tornit? Leave a comment below. Anyway, that is going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to BMO Creative for more crypto videos. Thanks so much. Bye.